Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc. Morning everyone, so we are back at the house. I've got my brother-in-law Patrick with me, and he's not a ghost this time. Who knows, maybe we'll have some spooky hauntings in this episode, you never know. Josh is going to be meeting us at the house pretty soon. We have a lot going on this week. What we have planned, I have plumbers coming this morning. I've got electrical guys coming to do some upgrades on the panels and the boxes and some of the switches. Josh is coming with his brother to rebuild or to hopefully finish off the kitchen. We have some deconstruction to do, some construction to do. It's going to be a busy weekend and I'm back here for 4 days. So to my wife and family, thank you for lending me out to the house for a few days here. Very much looking forward to seeing some progress on this place, and I'm planning on getting some painting done because the upstairs last time Carmen, a local drywaller, got everything prepped perfect for me upstairs, so I can just roll some primer on and start painting right away. So let's go check and see how the house looks. I think I see some contractor vehicles behind me. We're gonna go inside and see what's going on. Just got in the house. We got the electrician getting the range hood set up. I think I said hood range last time, but it is range hood. But I see something even more exciting. I've never been happier in my life. You gotta see this. I have a toilet. I wasn't there last time. I have a tub. And the question is, does it work? Oh, I've never been happier to flush a toilet in my entire life. Oh, it's not going down. Okay, I guess when the guys left the other day, they shut the main water off at the house, so I'm going to turn that back on. They didn't want to have any surprises as we're kind of going through the plumbing, but I noticed a couple things. One is I'm so happy I have a bathroom, which presumably is going to work now that the water's turned back on. And also, my brand new hot water tank is in place, and that means that with luck, I might actually be able to stay here in this house next time I come out and not have to rent a hotel room for an entire crew of people. So this is turning out to be good news already. I'm just gonna test the bathroom, make sure all is good. Sink. I have cold water. Let's see if I've got hot water. Yeah, I got hot water. And the toilet. Oh, I've never wanted to hug a toilet more in my life, other than when you're stomach sick and having to hug one. And there it goes. And fixing this toilet was kind of like money down the drain, but it had to be done. So now we have our toilet, working tub. They had to kind of set this up until I can order in the proper handles. I'm not going to leave it like that, obviously. These original spigots did not work, sadly. They were leaking. So I have to measure that and try and order some online. And that'll be today's mission, part of it. Somewhere underneath my feet is an electrician who's in the crawl space. I don't know how you crawled your way under there. And he's gonna be putting up an electrical conduit box. This is because this is where the dishwasher is gonna go. But he had to crawl underneath the house. So I don't envy him for doing that. But that's happening. And while he's doing that, I'm actually gonna come in here and start laying some stain on this big beam because we are leaving it open. And I want to get that done before the kitchen starts to go together when Josh shows up, because otherwise we'll get wood stain everywhere. And the idea with the kitchen is to try and have an exposed beam that looks like it's sort of industrial arts and crafts and meant to be there. So we've got a first coat of stain on. It's probably going to need at least one more, but at least now it won't drip down on top of the work that Josh will do. In fact, I don't know where he is. I'll have to give him a call because it's just about 11 o'clock and still no in touch with Josh. He's about an hour away. In the meantime, I'm going to get working on painting the ceilings and doing a primer. Well, it's primer is what I'm doing inside the upstairs hallway. Patrick is over there and he's working on scraping down some of the paint off the doors. We're gonna get working on that and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to put some paint in here today.
Goodbye, Wolverine. It seems I never knew you at all. You had to turn the light switch on with your claws all out in a row.
Okay, guys, so we got Josh and Josh 2.0. So you brought your brother with you. What's your brother's name?
So my brother's name is Jakota, but you can call him whatever you think I said. He's cool with it. Call him Bishu.
And you guys are both like contractors, artists, right?
We both did dabble. We did framing together, drywall, taping. He was a roofer for a while.
For a bit.
A bunch of different things. And then I started doing art when I was sort of a kid, and he started doing it when I started doing it.
And you do photography, right?
Photography, yeah, that's like the main, I guess, art plug, I guess you could call it.
And do you do Instagram or anything?
Oh yeah, I got
Yeah, what's your handle on Instagram?
I got, so for my photography, so I kind of have two kind of photography. So photography, my photo manipulation stuff is Madness Photography, so MADNEZZ. Photography, Madness Photography, and my personal is Jack Madness with 2 Z's as well.
Sweet. So if people want to check it out, they can go there.
Right, exactly. So like that's like my personal one is like not. It's kind of separate from my photography, but it's still photography. I don't know how to explain. You would have to check it out.
So we got 2 artists working on Artist House. That's great. You guys ready to do some work?
3 artists.
3. Who's the 3rd?
You are.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
No one knows that yet? Maybe people know. You don't talk about yourself.
I don't.
You're very good.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's so good.
Okay, so what'd you find?
Oh, I found this shoulder plane.
Was it just out in the dirt?
Yeah, it was actually right by the step since the snow's starting to melt. And then an old finishing hammer.
Cool.
But look at this thing. This is so cool. It's an old Stanley. I don't know much about these old tools, but it looks super dope.
Missing one of the blades, but I guess you can probably still get those somewhere. So
People are gonna be like, excuse me, it's called an iron.
An iron? Okay, there we go. I'll get corrected by YouTube, I'll get corrected by Josh, that's okay. Oh, the other thing is I learned that Frankie Yankovic was not Weird Al's dad. That was a urban legend that my dad told me, so I can't even get mad at my dad about that now anymore. But he's up there somewhere, I'm sure he's laughing about it, so. Back to work. And I'm still working on basically priming all of the walls. While that's drying, I'm gonna start getting the ceiling, because you wanna do your light colors first. I'm gonna be doing the whites first and then going into the dark after. Oh, back to work. Wearing my coveralls here so I don't get spatter all over me. And then I can start thinking about the color. And while the guys are working upstairs, I'm letting the primer dry that I put on the ceilings and walls. I have to run into the local paint shop here and visit Hillary at the decorating center and get some white, sort of a gloss paint that I'm gonna use for some of the trim and baseboards. We're not stripping back the paint in all the rooms to the wood. We are gonna leave some white and use that as sort of an offset color. I have to go get some white paint so I can put that on before we do the walls. That's where I'm heading next. While the paint is getting mixed across the street, I'm walking over to the glass shop where my front door is getting made, and I'm gonna see if I can get an update on how this door is coming along. Okay, so these are the slabs, the panels for the door?
Yes.
Okay, so how is it gonna be laid out once it's...
I think pretty much like how the original door was.
Okay, yeah.
So
Oh, I see, yeah, on the, so that'd be the bottom there?
this is the bottom here, and then your
And then the window
36-inch piece of glass up top.
Okay, well that's nice, and I love that it's going to be real wood again and not not fiberglass. It's going to be more authentic that way.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm going to come over and check out the frame and see how that's going. So you guys are able to custom build doors from scratch here.
Well, sometimes I guess.
Well, I see. Okay, this is the door itself,
Yeah, that's the door itself.
and so you're laminating a bunch of wood together, and then you basically just cut it to shape. Cut the.
We have all the notches cut in there. I built three panels of the door. So you got a 3/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, and a 3/4 inch.
Okay.
And we got a piece of metal channel running through the middle 1/2 inch one.
Oh, is that for the glass?
No, it's so cut down on any warp.
Oh, on the warp. Okay, so it's more rigid.
So yeah, same reason we went for three layers instead of one large layer, is it'll reduce the chances of warping.
Okay.
So yeah, we have the glass came in this morning too. So we got the 2 tall sealed units and the 136 inch sealed unit. There.
So it's really coming along, and this is the frame here.
Yeah, see it here. This is the outside.
This is the outside of it, and here's the threshold.
Yeah.
I think somebody might get married and have to carry their spouse across the threshold at some point. It's nice. This is pretty much what the house had.
Yeah.
This is almost identical to what would have originally been in the home. And I have the stained glass windows that are the exact size for this. However, they're broken. So I don't know that I'll be able to reuse them, but I have a plan, and that's to get stained glass decals or decals, depending upon where you're from. If people are watching the States, they're gonna give me a hard time about it. But basically a transfer that goes on to make it look like stained glass on either side. I think when you're in the living room, it's going to look fantastic. It looks great. While I was out getting paint, I had to stop and get a couple other things too, like toilet paper, because now we have a working bathroom. I guess we have to have things like soap and toilet paper and normal things that a normal house has. It's actually kind of cool to have the first kind of home-related items come to the house. I'm going to get that set up and ready to go, maybe wash that tub out while the paint's drying, and then start on the coat of ceiling paint. Since we're starting to actually use this washroom now, I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning before everybody has to deal with the mess in here. And this isn't meant to be an endorsement, but I'm using CLR to get rid of the rust stains that are inside this tub. So let's give it a try and see how it works. Well, this tub's about as gross as you're going to find. So we'll see just how this stuff works. I'll let it soak in there for a little while. It says it should remove all sorts of stuff. Put that in there, let it sit. Put some in the sink here too. Apply liberally. I feel like a criminal in a bad movie that's dumping gasoline on a building he's about to light on fire. I'm gonna let this stuff sit. I'm gonna actually use a sponge, kind of wipe it around and let it sit. I found these in the cabinet. They're elegant sponges. Meant for washing your fancy 1980s car or your gross sink. Let this sit on there for a while. I don't think this sink has been cleaned in ages, so I'll give it a chance to kind of do its work, but I can see it's coming out pretty clean already. Makes me optimistic for how this tub's gonna work. The tub's obviously a lot worse. Oh. Well, the sink came up pretty clean. Toilet, obviously that's brand new, so there's nothing wrong with that. And the tub, well, I've got a bit more work to do on the bottom of the tub. I'm gonna let some of that stuff soak in there for a while and revisit it later today. I've got the entire first coat done up on the ceiling, and it's looking pretty good. The reason I'm doing the first coat is that you want, a darker color is harder to cover with a light. So you do your light colors first. So in this case, I'm doing the ceiling, and if there's gonna be any white trim in the room, I'm gonna do that first, and then after that dries, you do the color on the wall. Now the wall is gonna be sort of that, it's kind of like a coffee color, really. We're painting the walls that color. So after I get the ceilings done in all the rooms and the trim on the baseboard painted, that's when I'm gonna start laying down the color on the walls. Dad, how's it going downstairs?
It's going. We got a little bit left. Oh, there's still nails everywhere. I mean, other than that, we're golden.
So how many nails do you think they put down every foot?
I think an excessive amount. 30 million. There's a lot. There's too much, I would say.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Appreciate you doing that though.
Yeah, hey, that's why I'm here.
Electrical update. We are getting plugs in place for the washer. We got the dryer, the 220 installed. And he's just about got the kitchen done. Well, not Josh, the electrical fellow, the electrician. There's Josh. This is Tim Hortons, folks. I'm not advertising for them, but they're delicious donuts. So he's got the upper cabinet pretty well taken care of. The fridge is gonna go in here. Built a little platform for it to sit on because the old fridges are just not as tall as the new ones. Trust me, it'll look good once we get it all done. The electrician is putting in new plugs in convenient spaces all along where the counter is going to be. And for those of you asking about the distance here, Josh did measure it to make sure it's going to be a standard height, so appliances will fit underneath the counters. It probably just looks different on TV than it does in person, but we're going to have some nice big counters. Things are coming along. So there were some of you asking about the counter height. Now, what we did is after peeling back layers of paint, have discovered what the original location of the cupboards was. But we do have just a little over a foot between the height of the counter and the bottom of the cupboard. So we wanted really long cabinets to give it a dramatic feel. If a person needs room for an appliance, we do have a complete open counter, which is gonna be right by the sink, which has nothing impeding it, goes up right up to the ceiling. So it should turn out really interesting, but it's going to give us the look that we want, which is really that 100-year-old vintage kitchen sort of vibe, and a little different than what normal is, but this whole kitchen is going to be different than normal.
We're gonna check this out. So, look how big the space is because the wane in the wall.
Yeah, the
because of the
walls.
lath and plaster.
Yeah.
So I have to cut this so that doesn't show, because another piece of trim is gonna look weird because we're not gonna put any beading on here.
So what do you do?
So check this out. Just go, since my pencil mark is just where it would fail, you just run the pencil along the wall, and then once I have this drawn out, I'm going to cut that out with a jigsaw, and it'll sit perfectly flush with the wall.
Yeah, that's a good trick. So that trick worked pretty darn good. That's almost an exact fit right against the wall. All I have to do now is prime and paint it. Well, I'm the first one up this morning. Everybody else is still asleep, but I'm eager and ready to go. I have to go and get some new paintbrushes because the ones we have aren't proper for doing edging and trimming. But I did manage to get the hallway painted. Tomorrow, or today, I guess, I'm hoping to get the other rooms and basically the whole upstairs painted. So that's what I'll probably put the guys on, getting that done while Josh works in the kitchen. I'm gonna do some cleanup and start to get the downstairs ready to paint down there. Then it's basically a matter of getting, hopefully, I don't know how far we're going to get in terms of plumbing and electrical, but we got pretty far yesterday with the kitchen, getting the new electrical put in with the GFI switches, and I believe next week they're putting in the new junction boxes in the basement and the new panels for the breakers. So things are really progressing. This will be my last time probably having to stay in the hotel here, which is kind of bittersweet. It's nice to stay here. You know, it's comfortable and people make the bed for you, which is always good. But now I have running water at the house, so I might have to figure out what to do for a bed. So when I come back next time, I'll have somewhere to sleep. So maybe I'll do a little searching and see. I think there's still actually a couple beds up in the attic. Maybe I can use those and just get a new mattress and box spring. So a little investigating today, and I'll see what I can rustle up. So I'm at the hotel, which I've been staying at for, well, many months it seems now, probably a couple months. And I noticed this. It's a playbill for me playing in the lounge tonight. I kind of mentioned in passing last time that I could probably bring my guitar and play a couple songs. But look, it's been advertised, which means that I have to actually put on a show. So I'm going to try and practice a little bit today after we're done working on the house, and hopefully I can put on a show where people won't, you know, throw their beer bottles at me or get upset. It's my first time doing this, folks, so we'll see how this goes. So remember the old fluorescent light that was hanging in the kitchen that I really hated? Well, we got a new one. It's slim, it's, you know, it puts off really good light over top of the stove, and it wasn't super expensive. So I found one that's gonna be really thin so the doors don't open into it. But that's in place. I'll see if Josh notices this morning. I kind of did that before he got in today. I'm just getting some trash picked up and going around. Some of the stuff's been on the table ever since basically I bought the house. Haven't even gone through some of these little blankets. These are like what they would call a Mexican blanket. People who have hot rods like these, they lay them out on the seats.
For a rat rod.
Yeah, for a rat rod. You've seen those on the seats before, right?
Yeah, I had one on my old F-150.
Yeah, that's like a rat rod Mexican blanket. That's why I kept those things. Guys like them. Oh, look. My rollers. Those will come in handy.
I can't find my good rollers.
Yeah, and then there they are. Oh, wait, hang on. I think this is another vase. You know, do you want to open that up, Josh, for me? I think that's another one of Mary's. It was inside of this grocery store bag. Might be. She had pottery from other artists too, so I can never tell if it's gonna be one of hers or somebody else's.
Oh, it's broken.
Is it broken? Oh no.
Doesn't have a signature on it.
No, is that all that's in it?
That's all that's in here.
So, oh, that's disappointing.
You know what it's?
And I just got in touch with Carmen, who's our drywaller, and I asked if he could come by and do an estimate on fixing the really gross spot in the ceiling. Now, that was probably originally caused by a water leak in the upstairs bathroom, which is all capped off now, and I'm not worried about the water lines continuing to leak because they're capped, and we're gonna be putting new ones in. But what I am worried about is what's gonna be underneath there in terms of possible mold or damages. So we'll get him to cut it out and see if it's something that can be repaired, hopefully without too much effort. He's gonna come by later today. I also started removing the globes off of the chandelier because I thought that gave it kind of a 1970s look. Taking the globes off gives it sort of a more vintage yet modern look. I may find some Edison style bulbs to put in there or continue. It had kind of candelabra style bulbs in there before that looked like flame. If I can find some more of those, I might go with that. But I think it's already looking better. Got a light installed in the kitchen, and I'm going to continue working upstairs today. I'm still nervous about this whole having to play in public thing later on, so we'll see how that goes. But we're going to do a little bit of cleanup, get some painting done, and hopefully this thing will progress a lot today. And here we just have to have a happy little tree. Just a happy tree. You know, maybe he's going to have some happy little friends, and we'll put a little cabin. Just a nice little cabin. Happy little cabin right here in the woods. Wouldn't you like to live in a little cabin in the woods? I know, I sure would. Nice little happy cabin right in the woods. Trim has been painted. Jakota did a great job. I'm starting to layer on the color with the roller now, and it's starting to come in nice. We're just gonna wait for this to dry. I've got a bit more of the room to go. And this is the room that was tied shut. This was the room that actually kind of gave me the creeps at first when I was in this house. But it is now one of my favorite places to be because it's got 2 windows, it's always sunny and bright, and it's just a happy little room. And I'm quite happy myself that we're getting the work done to it, and this will be probably the first room that I'm able to put a bed in and sleep in when I come out to do renovations on the house. Oh, I've got a lot more work to do, but things are really progressing and the colors rolling on nice. Let's check in and see how Josh is doing. So what are you working on, Josh?
I'm just putting the fascia pieces on, which are going to be painted. All that jazz, so then we can. Oh, check this out.
Ooh, like
from that dresser that we found. I still have to put a fascia piece under here.
Like a glove.
Here. But oh yeah, of course, I'm really good at what I do.
And so modest.
This is going to be probably like a cutlery drawer or something like that. And then we'll put another drawer over here, which will be made out of the same drawer. I'll just cut it down. Yep. And then we'll be able to stick it in there. And then we're going to have different hardware on it.
And you're getting the fascia, I see.
Yeah, so everything up here is done. I can basically do doors. I just don't want to like keep going back and forth with the different tasks. But yeah.
Looks good.
Thank you.
And you said that your brother-in-law is Polish, right? Yeah, I was always wondering if you went to Poland and you saw a sign that said pole dancing, it would actually just be a bunch of Polish people dancing.
Yeah, they'd be doing that weird.
They'd be doing their like happy, festive Polish dance.
Yeah, it's like lame break dancing.
Yeah, that's what you'd see. So next time you go to a pole dancing bar, that's probably what you see, a bunch of Polish people dancing inside of it.
That's
What'd you find, Jakota?
Oh, it looks like I found some artwork.
Oh yeah, those must have been painting she was planning.
It seems that way, yes. It's like an old lady.
Well, it could be self-portrait, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny is that, okay, well the lady picture, I don't know if that's meant to be her, but that lantern was sitting in the front. I think that's I just took that lantern out and I actually sold the lantern to a guy, but she was gonna do a painting of it. It's funny. So it's finally time for the carpeting on the stairs to come off. Jakota is having a great time ripping away on that stuff. That doesn't look like the best way to do it, but it's coming off. He's gonna be 100% stronger by the end of all this. You know, we have knives, you can like cut that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's probably the smart idea.
Yeah, worth a try. You can see underneath it was painted. So I'll have to see what we're gonna do with this stairwell. There's the original finish kind of under there. been meaning to do something with the upstairs light for a while now. It is just kind of a bulb. Whatever the original fixture was is broken. I brought some from my shop. This is kind of the base of it, right here. That has kind of a nice hanging glass globe that goes on there. I'm gonna try and get that installed and see if we can replace what's just a bare bulb with kind of a fancy fixture. So that is what's up for me. Ta-da! It's pretty darn good. That came out of an old hotel, and now it's in an old house. And I had to go from worker Alex to cowboy Alex. I've got my Western shirt with me. I feel like I gotta earn this shirt today because you can either earn a cowboy shirt like this by either singing a cowboy song or riding a bucking bronco. And I'm planning on doing at least one of those things tonight. So we'll see if we can do this. I'm gonna head down and do a mic check and make sure everything's okay. So I'm getting geared up to do the show in about an hour. I'm so not prepared for it. I got my guitar with me. The stage is back there. I've got a mic set up, so hopefully things will go okay. I was thinking about a Western name, and the one I came up with on the road was Slim Pickens. Pretty sure that'd be an awesome country name. Welcome to the stage, folks, Slim Pickens. Well, that's what they're getting tonight with my music choices, Slim Pickens, because I only know a handful of songs. But we're gonna dive into it in about an hour's time. I'm feeling nervous. Well, I survived, barely. Had a few technical glitches, but all in all got through a few songs, and they really like the old Johnny Cash stuff, and that's my wheelhouse. So I left the bar behind. I'm gonna go check in for the night and get back to the house tomorrow. I'm not the only one who sings in the family. I'm in the finished bedroom. Ta-da, it's looking pretty good. And what I get to do this morning is actually start to decorate. So some of the furniture that I've been keeping from around the house, I've been bringing in to this room and make it into a somewhat usable bedroom. So feeling pretty darn positive. Let's go pick out some furniture from around the house. And I've been kind of keeping stuff stashed everywhere in case I have a place for it, like this old dresser, which might look good in that room. Some old curtains. So there's all sorts of stuff that I've kind of been stockpiling in case I have a use for it. Now I actually get to start dispersing it around the house. A little dusty in the attic today with all the sanding. I think I can use this chair downstairs though. Let's see if I can grab it. Bring it down. I might be able to use this little side table for something too. It's just kind of been hanging out here, but maybe a little bit of cleaning, I might be able to reuse it. I've also been saving this kind of funky fiberglass mid-century modern lamp that I think I can repurpose in that room. I'm gonna see if I can find a place for it. Going to attempt to find some stuff in the old tool room down here. Oh, there's the light. Upcycling at its finest, folks. Looking for stuff that could have been thrown out. Try and make it something I can use. I need a a hook that I can hang the chain off of. I might be able to alter something like this. Let me see. Well, I'm gonna keep looking until I find just the right thing. This is the door that was dragging. We've got it propped and ready to cut. Josh is gonna take about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom. What is that, like 10, 15 millimeters, something like that?
Dude, I don't know.
I know,
Being in Canada, you learn like both, but you choose one or the other. Check out how long my cord is on my saw. I brought this saw up here so that I could plug it in anywhere because of the limited cords. But
our
it has a ground on it and the plugs don't have a ground.
I know ours.
So I decided to plug it into this 100-footer. So I got like 125 feet cord for this stupid door.
You are prepared.
So rip this. Make sure she fits. Alright.
Nice little light for a sitting area. You can sit down and read a book right in that little chair. Looks pretty good. Picture up. Upstairs, things are starting to look really good. The exterior hallway here is painted now with a new light, well, a new antique light. And well, I've got 2 bedrooms basically that are in good shape. The first one is what I would call like the kids' room. It's enough for a twin bed. So we now have a bed. So if I have company come and stay with me working out here, we have a nice clean room, a nice space to put them. And it even has a little seating area. And I used the old fiberglass lamp right there that was in the house, and it gives it very sort of a nice mid-century modern kind of look. Even though it's an older house, Mary had picked that out herself and thought it was cool, and I think it's cool too. So we've added that in the house, and I used one of the chairs from up in the attic, which is sturdy enough to sit on. We decided to go white trim in this room and really just try and keep the it nice and bright and sunny. This is a very pleasant room to be in because it gets daylight pretty much all day long. Has 2 windows on both sides, and it's just sunny and just a happy little room. And yeah, you know, if somebody has to stay in here, now they got a nice little place to stay. So part of the goal this weekend is to make 2 complete bedrooms at work, one with a queen bed, one with a single bed. I did find a mission-style single bed locally, and the price was right, just $60 delivered. So that's gonna help out with the budget. It came with the box spring, which looks clean and good. We'll have to find a new mattress somewhere, but you'd wanna do that anyway. So I'm gonna take the parts for the bed upstairs and see if I can get it set up in the new room, which I'm building, in what used to be the tied shut room is what I think of it as. But we're gonna take this upstairs and get her up. Well, this is the yellow room, the one that has a secret room that goes up to the attic around the corner. As you can see, Patrick has done a great job getting the wood trim back to being wood. I've started edging the room, and this, with a new light fixture and the walls painted, will be the next room to be almost completely finished in the upstairs. Making progress. Gonna be 2 rooms down and then 2 to go. I've got some painting to do, a floor to sand, and then this one I can actually start thinking about decorating maybe today or tomorrow. The old yellow room is no longer yellow, and it's just about done. The one problem is the floor needs a little bit more work before it's ready. I'm out of sandpaper for the floor sander. I'll have to bring that back to me next time. But this will have to be where I sleep for a little while. So I'm gonna bring the bed, one of the beds that I bought while I was out here in town, off of their buy and sell page, and get it set up in here so this could be a bedroom. And unintentionally match the wood of the bed pretty much exact with the windows. I'm not an evil genius, I didn't know that was gonna happen, but it's gonna look good. Oh, first usable bed in the house, and it's super comfy. So this entire queen size bed combination cost me 420 bucks altogether. But it is a really comfortable mattress. And before you say, ooh, that's gross, it's a used mattress. Well, it's well cared for. And what do you think a hotel mattress is? It's been used. So since this is sort of an extra home that we're kind of just getting ready to use, this is gonna be like my hotel room pretty soon. So really, really comfy, nice bed that matches the trim in this room. And the yellow room is no longer yellow. I have two actually nice clean rooms that people can stay in now. And that's a whole lot more than what I had a week ago. I'll see if I can find a new home for this mid-century dresser. Needs some cleaning, but gonna put it in the other room. In the old trunk from the attic, we'll see if we can find a new place, a new life for this elsewhere in the house. It's my last morning this weekend at the house, but good news, the guys are here with the new front door and they're getting ready to put it inside the house. I've also got a home inspector here who's gonna be letting me know exactly what kind of condition the house is in, and I'm honestly worried about what his report's gonna say because we're investing a lot of money and I don't wanna go through all this just to find out that it's been for naught. So hopefully I'm not gonna get any terrible news. He's doing up a report right now. In the meantime, I'm gonna stay optimistic and I'm gonna go off to the local department store here and see if I can find some bedding for the new beds that I've purchased, so when I get back next week I'll have somewhere to sleep. So off we go to the store. My options are probably going to be kind of limited because there's just a small selection here and it is not a town of very many people. I don't know how many folks come in looking for bedding, but we're going to have a look and see. Actually, they have a pretty good variety of bedding here, surprisingly. Hopefully I'll find something that'll work. Gotta find a few things to decorate with. This little candelabra. Maybe there's some little pieces of artwork we can use. Wash these guys off a little bit before I try and use them upstairs. Clean them off in the tub a little. Gotta make them look nice. And I've been told that the neighbor kids have been kind of peeking in the windows, wondering what's going on here, but there's been not much for them to look at. So I'm gonna set up a little surprise for them that, you know, they'll have something to talk about at school. So for whatever reason, Mary had a pickle display. We call him Rick the Pickle Man. So he's gonna be in our front window, and I'm gonna leave the light on in here so he'll cast like a little shadow, I think. It's pretty funny.
You'll never put it out.
We'll see if the neighborhood kids see that tonight as they walk by. I left the light on so he'll just be a silhouette of a person staring out the window. This is what people see at night walking up to the house. There's Rick up in the window. That's too funny. We ran out of clamps and I remembered that we had the antique one in the basement. So Josh is using this crazy old wood clamp and it's working so far?
Yeah, it is. It's so rusty, but, oh, there we go.
It's doing it?
Yeah, let's watch it squeeze. Let's see if we can get this.
He's laminating what will become part of a countertop together.
Yeah.
Needed one more clamp. We happen to have that one downstairs. Yeah, that's cool.
Should I go up there?
Oh, dude.
Well, we're gonna have to, like, cause we're gonna have to lift it up and then push it this way.
Do you even frog? Dude.
That's kind of cool.
What's the cartoon frog?
Okay, guys, let's do this.
Okay.
Are we?
Well, I think we all get underneath it. And we're gonna sit up. Okay, stronger dude, do there. Ready?
I thought you would shut the drawer.
Okay, now we have to just rotate it this way. That sucks. I'm gonna try to go.
Dump in the
Slow-mo.
We're gonna check on Josh in the kitchen, see how it's going. Hey Josh, how's it going?
Hello.
Looks like you got some, it's
I'm
looking
just,
pretty good.
I'm just test fitting them right now. Ah, shoot. No!
So we're doing this sort of beadboard look. This is kind of what we had originally. This is what the kitchen would have been, right?
Yeah, well, that's what the evidence is from downstairs.
And what Josh is doing right now is kind of just holding them up with tape. We're letting the wood grow. So after you cut it, it can actually expand a little bit more.
Yeah, so like with this really cheap wood, right, this is just like SPF. So they cut down, they grow these trees to cut down, and they grow them really fast. And so they hold a lot of moisture inside them. So even when you cut them, you probably would notice this mostly when you're building decks and stuff. You cut it, you put it all in place, and it either shrinks or grows. These are really dry, so probably nothing will happen, but just in case, just gonna test fit them, let them stay here for a bit, and we'll see how much we have to trim off the top, just so that they can open and close forever.
Okay, so Josh has the doors pre-fit for the kitchen. I'm starting to put some white paint on, right down below. So next time you see this kitchen, I'll hopefully have most of these cabinets painted white. I stopped by to the fellow's place that had the die-cast collection, and I see something in his shed here that I think I might be able to use for the house. An old Kelvinator fridge, which looks to be in pretty good shape. So I might have to come back for this guy in a couple days, load it up, and get that back to the house. Looking really cool. We're getting the fridge offloaded. There's one problem though. Nobody's inside. Josh is going in, Indiana Jones style. Get the dolly. Okay, let's do this, guys.
Do we want to put this on the ground?
Word. Good, yeah.
And then we can drag it?
Okay, see if you can get that underneath it.
Yeah.
Word.
I'm gonna turn the camera off and actually go help these guys. Okay, fridge is in place. It's an awesome looking fridge, I must say. This is a good looking fridge. And we've got lights.
Dude, it came with some free ice.
Oh,
Oh no, this isn't ice. What is this?
that's probably ice cube tray. Now to find all the missing pieces for the railing. Some in the front porch. Put those over here. Found some upstairs, somewhere in the attic. We're gonna see if we have all the pieces to reconstruct whatever this railing was. A few little odds and ends to keep looking. And here is generally what the staircase kind of looked like. Now, they wouldn't build a staircase like this anymore, but this one's grandfathered in because, well, it's an old house and that's what the railing was. It looks pretty cool. kind of fancy, and I like it. It reminds me of Mary's artwork, how it's swirly. So I'll see if Jakota can come and screw this all in place.
Yeah. Is that? Because it's these that are crooked. These are twisted, right? They're rocking chairs.
Right.
So they're going to steam these. If it seats nicely in there, just worry about that.
Okay. Yeah, there's another hole just like that one.
So I made a whoops. I threw out a scrap piece of wood, actually an old shelf that we actually can reuse. I had to climb back in the dumpster to pull it out. I'm gonna get out of here carefully because there is some glass in here. I'll show you what I had. This is what I needed. I had to throw it back out of the dumpster. These planks of wood that are on the top are the exact right size we need to do repair in the house. Everything's closed today at the lumber store anyhow, and that's perfectly good wood. And the goal here is to try and upcycle and recycle wherever possible. So bet on me for throwing it out before I checked. Well, if there's one thing I've learned after taking this carpet off the stairs is that staples were really cheap in the old days. They were probably like, Staples? I can get 1,000 of those for a hay penny, because they put them every, I'd say, half inch. There's a staple. So I've been going step by step, and Jakota did this the other day, and then I got him to do something else. Now I'm kind of regretting it because this is a less fun job probably than painting. But yeah, there's staples everywhere. It's crazy. So there is the original front door of the house. Have a good look at what that looks like, because the door guys have built an exact copy. I'm gonna come back here so you guys can see. That is what was there. We basically put it back to what it was. Now the only difference is there was stained glass on either side, which I don't have. Well, I do have the glass, but it's broken. So I'm gonna have to get creative and either repair the original stained glass or put maybe something in that looks like it. But there's the original front door back on the house. And it's such a nice door that I'm actually just going to clear coat it. You get that nice honey brown kind of look out of just basic clear. That's unfinished, that's finished. So I will do the rest of this next week. But at least there's not a sliding door in the living room anymore. So Josh, what is the plan for next week anyway? Or when we come back?
Do you want to come back next week?
Possibly. We'll see what Melissa says. But we've got okay, so Quikrete, right?
Yeah.
That
That'll take like an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Quikrete, and then what else?
Do that trim.
Oh yeah, the trim along the top. I have to paint the ceiling. I haven't done that yet. So I'm liking the sink, especially now it's kind of cleaner. It's looking pretty good. We had some trouble. The cabinets were kind of waiting a little bit, but you fixed it by putting, what'd you do? I can't remember.
You're talking about
The tall cabinets on that side.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the wall like bows out badly.
Yeah, it's because it's lath and plaster and it was done like 100 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also since the roof is slanted, while the whole room is slanted, I had to just keep level with itself so that your dishes and stuff don't slide.
Yeah, so I mean
whatever.
the cabinets are all level.
Yeah.
But if we look up at the top, we're going to see that it kind of narrows.
Yeah, pie shaped. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another piece of trim that's going to go up top.
Yeah, I'll put a piece of trim up there after the ceiling is painted.
Are you happy with the hinges and the overall look so far?
I think these hinges are super cool. This looks exactly like the cabinet downstairs. It's just white instead of blue.
Well, it's, yeah. And that probably was white at one point.
Yeah.
But this will, we're going to have some accents with this kind of turquoisey color. And for everybody who's saying, wow, that color was too crazy, you really only catch it in a few spots in the kitchen. Like the kitchen overall is white and wood. And then you have a few little spots where this color peeks through just to give you that effect. Mm-hmm. This is all going to get tiled at some point, but I couldn't tile it until after the countertop was in. So once the countertop's in, then I can tile. Mm-hmm. And the reason we're doing Quikrete on either side, just remind us.
Okay, so there's a gas range. The fire shoots out like a star kind of. And code dictates that your stove be an inch above a countertop that's combustible. But we can't do that because this vent is right here, so we can't move this up higher.
It would have been a lot of work.
Right.
We looked into getting that done, to getting the hood, the range moved up. But to change the venting and to drill new holes and all that was gonna be really expensive. So
Because of the siding outside.
because of the siding outside. So instead of that,
we can use a non-combustible countertop, and concrete is a cheap, efficient, and to me looks awesome. So it's a good way to counteract that. And then, I mean, you can just place your hot whatever you're cooking directly on
right
the
on it, don't have
countertop.
to worry about scarring it or anything.
Yeah, I like this.
We got the fridge in.
The fridge is cool.
We got the old sink. I mean, I have to say, like, we had somebody come in the house today, and the guy had no idea this was a new kitchen, which is exactly what we wanted.
Right.
Yeah. So we had to explain to him that we just made it look really old. And I think, like, for people that are watching, it kind of looks like a Tom and Jerry episode. Like, everything's so kitschy and cartoony, and I love it. But look at the crazy amount of cupboard space we have. I mean, there's tons of shelves and cupboards. Yeah, like there's going to be lots of space to put things. And for those of you that were thinking we should have more counter space, there's a fair amount of counter space in here already. And I'd have to say, my house was built maybe 15 years ago, so it's not that old. But this kitchen currently has as much counter space as my fairly new house. But we're adding in a butcher block table right in the middle of the room here, and we have a couple other secrets that are going to be revealed in a future episode where this kitchen starts getting a little farther along. So don't forget to check out Josh's Instagram account. Actually, you've got two of them, right? What are they?
I do have two. So, one where I do stuff like this. It's called Ushitat. See if you can get
Like the hat?
like the hat, USIHTAT. And then my other one is My Hands Gallery, and that's where I just do paintings and stuff like that.
And if you're interested in following us, you can find us at Curiosity Inc. YEG. And that's a great way to not only see the updates of what we're working on for the show, but also items that we have for sale. So a lot of times I go on adventures and we sell stuff, and that's the way people can actually go on there and see what we have for sale and take stuff off. So thank you very much for watching this week's episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't checked out Josh's Instagram, go do it. He's a talented guy, and I also told him that we'd get him over 10,000 subscribers by the end of next month. And so we've got a few thousand so far, so you guys can push him over top if you just go subscribe to his account. That'd be awesome for him to have a young artist get known. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.